Recording in progress. What's up, Restoration Rebels? This is Andy McCabe. I got Joe over there. We got a new face in the room, Luis. This is the Restoration Rebel Roundtable for the 30th of August, 2023. Let's start with the agreements, shall we? Here we go. Agreement number 1, I will protect the value of my services. Offering free services only serves to erode the value of similar services industry-wide. Agreement number 2, I will practice incredible transparency. I will explain the claim process to my client. I will not hide pricing details or falsify reports. I will never communicate with an adjuster without also communicating with my client. Agreement number 3, I do not believe in competition. The restoration companies in my market and yours are part of my community. I will be an active member of my community. It is our unbreakable unity that will create the change that we strive for. And agreement number 4, I am willing to walk away from any project, client, or contract that is not compatible with my values and stated mission. No relationship is worth losing money, sleep, or my humanity. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. So I had Friday, I had a lesson in commitment. I had a lesson in when not to be hesitant. And I'm going to show this video. And I'll tell you, the lesson's going to be self-evident. But oftentimes in life, we come into situations and we just, there is such a thing as an overabundance of caution. There is such a thing as if I'm hesitant and I'm non-committal, bad things happen. So here, let's just play this. Can you guys hear the audio?
No.
No.
No? Nothing?
No.
But you can see the video.
Yeah. I mean, it's stutters, but I mean, it's like every other frame, but I mean, it's smooth enough we can see what's going on.
So I was following my boys. Mount Bachelor, downhill mountain biking. And I come up to this spot where if I would just went through it, I'd be fine. But what did I do? I hammered the brakes and then, oh, shoot.
Ooh.
Boom. The most painful thing I've ever done in my life.
Everyone's just driving over you. He's fine.
So I didn't carry enough speed and I hammered myself, threw myself over the handlebars. The GoPro that is now facing up in the sky was torn off of my helmet. And I ended up dislocating my collarbone. This guy, so you can't hear him. He said that you got that shit on film, man. Freaking crazy. So I spent Friday evening in the emergency room. There's a joint here that holds your collarbone to your shoulder. Now my collarbone is poking out right here. And that joint is obliterated. So I'll have a lot of PT in my future. But where I wrecked, I had gone on that trail maybe a dozen times. And for some reason, when I came up to it, instead of just riding through the feature, going through that drop, and the drop was maybe a foot. My brain got weird and I hammered the brakes and I didn't carry enough speed. So that was an analogy, I think, for life, in that if we're going to do something, fully commit, fully send it. Oftentimes there's no halfway. If you try to go halfway through a jump, you're not going to make it through the jump. Halfway is as good as dead. Right? You're just going to get injured. So I thought that was, I don't know, that's what happened to me on Friday. And just, it hurts so bad. It hurt. So it still hurts. It's a painful injury. So I'll have a long road here. So let's talk real quick about Florida. We got a hurricane coming through. We got a bunch of people excited. Bunch of people. I'm going. Are you going? I'm going. You're going. Where are you going? If you're headed into a disaster zone, you need to be prepared. But more importantly than that, you need to know where you're going. Every year there's tons of folks that just pack up their stuff and go without any real idea where they're going to end up. And they hope they're going to pick up a claim or something when they get there and figure it out. And the amount of times that actually works, I would say is 25%. 25% of the time that would work for you. 75% of the time, you're going to spend a lot of money and get nowhere. And you're going to come back home a lot broker. And your local market is going to be serviced in your absence by your competition. I know I don't like that word, but that's the reality is. So there, in my experience, in my old gray age, you need to have a job. You need to have something lined up. You need to have a very good reason to go, a very compelling reason to go, and a very compelling contract in hand before you go. Because the days of being able to just roll into a disaster area and start signing up work, it's over. And then that's in a regular state. You add to that the complication of doing work in Florida. I personally am handling appraisals from Hurricane Ida that are still not settled. That means restorers went to Florida, did work in Florida, and haven't been paid for that work because I'm still handling the appraisal. And I'm not the only one. There's restorers, I know of 2 restorers that did work for carriers that ended up going into receivership, going banco, and they're waiting for their money. So there's 101 ways to lose your ass going to a disaster zone and a couple ways to make some money. So my answer to everyone, are you going to go or should I go, is always unequivocally no. Because if you weren't, and Clark Brown used to say this all the time, if you didn't come into 2023 planning to respond to a hurricane or disaster, you shouldn't go. The only way you should go is if you planned on, you built into your calculus of your business and your business model and your business plan, I'm gonna go to a CAT this year. So I'm gonna get all my ducks in a row. I'm gonna get my equipment. I'm gonna get my subcontractor agreements. I'm gonna get my employment agreements. I'm gonna get my crews lined up. I'm planning to go. But once you see that on CNN, that big old fluffy cloud spinning out in the Gulf, and then you decide to go, man, you're screwed.
I'm
You
gonna
don't
tell
get a
you,
chance.
if you want to go to the hurricanes, the time you go to the RIA conference in the spring, you network, you meet the people in the groups that are down there in that area, and you form a relationship with them, and you say, hey, when you need help, I'll come down and help you, and we'll split the profits or we'll split the jobs, however, that's how you plan on going to Florida. You don't just jump in the truck and head down there. I mean, you guys have to realize you're not in your home area. You don't have your normal subs. If you need electricians and plumbers, you don't have the stores. I mean, they're going to be sold out of plywood and everything else half the time. You don't have that. There's the extra income of per diem for your guys out of town, hotel stays for your guys out of town the entire time. There's just so many things that you can't forecast for really well if you've never done it. And if you want to get into it, which I'm not opposed to anybody getting into it, but you got to do it in a way that makes sense for your business. Join the RIA, join one of these business network groups where you network and you get with people and you say, hey, let me come down here, and you form a relationship. That's how my W-2 job does it. They have a connection with a bunch of different large scale operations. We go down there simply for commercial work. We don't do residential. And we're going down there knowing that we're going to have work given to us to handle and oversee for people. Like, if you don't just get in your truck and go down there, it's the worst thing you can do.
It's
You've
terrible.
never, especially if you've never done it before.
Right.
I've met people that went and they started asking us like for help because they didn't know they're getting like last year on IDA they I forgot what rule or something they had mentioned about cutting um
Blood cutting.
I don't know if you remember well on Florida they had mentioned that you needed to make sure that they are only cutting what's it called
Blood cutting?
yeah like flood cutting but I forgot what was it called like not man I can't remember the word the name thing that they used
I mean, you guys have to realize when it comes to FEMA, they don't pay to stabilize. They don't pay to dry shit out that you're planning on taking out. So you can set up equipment because you can't get to all your jobs quick enough. You don't get paid by FEMA for it until after the demo is all done. If you have to monitor every day. If you miss, you could be on day 7 of your dry out, and then your guy misses day 8, you're getting 3 days of drying only. That's simple. Like there are so many rules, especially when FEMA's involved, guys, that like it's a hurdle to jump over sometimes.
Oh, every time, not just some. It's if you don't know, and if you don't know how to, if you've never, it is literally hurdles you got to jump over, and if you've never run hurdles, you're gonna land on your face, bro. You are done, son. Yeah, it just okay. So how many days is it going to be before we start seeing? Hey, I need DHUs. Where are you getting DHUs? Where are you getting crews? Oh, I need bodies. I need bodies in Jacksonville.
I mean, they're talking about like 100,000 people, 100,000 plus people are out of power right now. Like, you don't need power right now, guys. If you're down there, you just need a saw and a hammer and a pry bar, and you start throwing it away. You know, but like everybody knows, our money's in our equipment. You're not going to get it unless you're doing large scale operations where you're doing time and material, and you have a large crew that you can charge for. Like, you're not, you won't make as much money as what you're used to making because you can't build the right way, and you don't get a bill for everything you normally would. And that's where it really hurts people a lot.
Yeah, every time, every single time. So stay home. I mean, it's not like we're all not busy, right? We were busy before this hurricane formed. We're all busy as hell. What I've been saying for years is only becoming more true. There will never be enough of us to handle the need, to respond to the market needs. There will always need to be more restorers, not less. So stay in your market, build your business in your market. Don't go chasing these. It's just you're chasing rainbows because you think. Do you think they pay more? You think Xactimate pays more, or insurance companies want to pay more if just because you're in a hurricane zone? No, they do not. No, they do not. All right, Joe, you want to talk about this thing? Let me share the screen here. This one right there. This sucker. Let me back it up a little bit. This is one building that looks like 3 buildings, designed by one of the 7 dwarfs in 1971, built in 1972. Those main faces are 712s, but the dormers are 1212s. And there are, what would you say, 270 facets, maybe more. How many facets are on these roofs? So I saw this last week in Mammoth, and I was given the unenviable task of estimating the roof replacement, roof and siding, actually. And so if you look at, let me come back to this part of the video right here. If you look at that, you see the driveway here on the right-hand side. They had snow covering up to the roof line. That's over 20 feet. They had close to 20 feet stacked on every single one of these roofs of snow. it was a disaster. I mean, we can just, I mean, the video quality isn't even good, but you can still see this shake is gone. Their shingles are falling apart. So I tried to do a hover. Hover said no. I tried to do a roofer report. Roofer said no. So what we're going to try to do is an eagle view. So today I got Joe. Joe was kind enough to talk me through it. I signed up for Eagle View. I got on the chat with Eagle View and said, hey, I need access to Xactimate roof and wall reports. And they, I got to find the address of this place, don't I? Before I do this.
Just make an Xactimate file up.
Yeah, but you have to have the address, right?
Oh, so your address, because when I was trying to do it for you, is going to be.
I'm going to do, okay. I'm going to share my whole screen. That's going to be too big for most of you, but I'm just going to do a new project. And we're going to call it
Aspen Creek Condominiums.
Aspen Creek. Do STR1.
Okay, so the big things.
I
wouldn't even worry. I don't even worry about that until I put my zip code in. Don't even try to figure it out.
Really?
Yeah, just
Oh.
close that out. Just X that out.
No, I already got a price list.
Oh,
I already got a price list made.
your tax jurisdiction, yeah.
Okay. Okay, so let's get the address.
865 Majestic Pines Drive. Nine 93546. Now there's two tricks here that you need to know about. Number one, when you do an Eagle View, especially if you're in the carrier or actionable profiles and stuff, it's going to try to pull your information for automatically filling out the form based on the claim rep. So if you have your name in if you have your saved name under estimator, you can just input under claim rep for a second, and you're good to go there. The other aspect of this is that you have to have a claim number of some kind. If you don't know the claim number, if it's not an insurance claim, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, ABC, I mean, whatever you want to call it. Like, you just have to put a claim number. You have to have some form of a claim number. That's the only thing that matters.
Got it.
All right, save and exit it.
Oh, I go all the way back out, huh? Okay.
Mm-hmm. Click on the little check mark box next to the file. On the right-hand side there, you see the little house with the tree. You click on that. New order, roof measurements. Do roof measurements, not property data. Roof measurements, hit next.
Okay.
See how you have Eagle View there. I think it's probably it. Do me a favor real quick. Hit cancel. Copy that into regular carrier mode. I want to see something real quick. Just because you're in actionable. Copy into carrier real quick. Because not everybody has actionable anyways, and I want to see if it is different for sure. I never really paid attention. Yep, and so you hit new order, and now you hit next. And your web browser will pop up to the side.
I came over here, so I'm going to throw this over here. Here we go. Oh, look at that.
Now you can hit your request your Eagle View. And you can choose from roofs or roofs and walls.
I'm going to do roof and walls just to.
If you do integrate, guys, if you do integrate, make sure when you integrate, you tell them you want it turned on for roofs and walls both, or else they'll just give you walls only. There's your information already claimed in because you put it in under the claim rep. Hit OK, hit submit, and you're done. And you will get an email in a little bit that'll say like, oh, this is a big complex here. Which building do you want? Respond to this email, and you'll say building 1. And that's about it. That's all you have. That's as easy as it is.
Okay, so that was different than my understanding of how that works. Because
if you're under the actionable profile and possibly under the contractor profile, it'll pop up like that box you saw.
Okay.
But now you just sit around 48, usually depending For most roofs, it's usually within 24 to 48 hours. They'll send you the reports over.
But
on
then it'll
standard
show
building.
up right here, right? Or no, it'll show
Yeah,
up right
here,
here.
I got one here. I got one on my side. I'll share the screen on.
Yeah, go ahead.
Oh, I'm not allowed to share screens.
Advanced sharing options.
There we go. Now I can. All right, and then so once you get the report in, and here's a couple other things for people to know about here. So when you get your report in, you'll know the report came in because your little bell icon will go bling bling, and it'll say like roof measure new data has been received by third party, and it'll show you what file it's attached to. Or it'll say if you cancel, it'll let you know cancel it. If there's an error in getting the information, it'll let you know there's an error. So then I got, all right. So then once you get your file information, you'll see it up here in the little corner here. All you got to do is click on this box here. And it'll say your review port. And now if you hit regular import, we're going to get the roofs like you're always used to seeing, guys. And all. If you click import and you hit import as a wireframe roof, you're going to get the fancy one where you can click on each facet, each aspect of the roof individually, which I personally like a lot better. It's also going to put it on your exterior level, which means that for the OCD people like me who can't stand it being angled, I can hit grid align and I can get it perfectly straightened up in one click.
God bless you.
Yeah. And then, I mean, the only thing, and the nice thing also about, and this is one reason I like the wireframe better, guys, is like here's my roof here. Like I said, if I got to rotate this, I got to try to, usually try to straighten it up, or I've got to try to freehand it and try to get it to line up like that there and stuff. That's a pain. If you're also, this is all showing, this roof here is only showing that the roof wall is that high. So, it's not, this is showing on this facet here, it's showing the eave height's only 3'4" from the ground because of the way the Eagle View comes in, where this here is obviously the ground level for the low roof. So if this is an 8 foot, this is 3 foot higher than the rest. And if I want to move it though, I can only move one roof at a time, which sucks. But under your wireframe roof, guys,
there is no roof wall.
There is no roof wall. And if I grab the vertex here, it moves as one whole product. So then I just have to look at my lowest number there and say, all right, that's 8 foot off the ground. And come on, 8 foot off the ground there. Now I know that everything is the right height. And if I need to calculate out, the exterior walls, I can create exterior from the wire roof. It'll create my exterior walls. I mean, and that's what you're probably going to do, Andy, is you get the roof, throw the walls down.
Just drop them down, but then I'm going to have to
figure out the deductions for all the windows.
Can you make windows and copy and paste windows in the exterior elevation?
Control copy. Not through that angle there. You could do it through this one here, probably where you go.
Yeah, but you don't know where your placement is.
Yeah, if it was me, I would just figure out all the math on how many windows it is and
just do the math and don't bother trying to sketch it. Yeah, you're probably right. Counting windows, average window size, boom.
Now, and then, like I said, I know there's a lot of people that have a love and a hate relationship with it, but for anybody that's looking at this here and they're not used to seeing this, the reason this came about was because for all of those people out there that have the professional version of Xactimate, when you have it like this, you have access to Xacscope. In Xacscope, you can go in and say, here's a pipe jack here, there's a ridge vent here, I've got a gutter back here and a gutter back here. You can mark your roof with all your icons you need to, like this, and then when you select the roof as a whole, you can literally just answer questions and say replace roof. Andy, your situation, wood shake. I don't know anything. I have no clue about wood shake. So I'm going to say, I'm going to guess it's in the big mountains there. I'm gonna say 3/4 shake. I'm gonna assume that. Fire resistant, probably because it's in the middle of the forest. High
Mhm.
charge. You know, I can go through your, oh, this one's a low pitch. Yeah, I need to replace the existing with a roll roof. I need to add some waste to it. You know, the decking, I don't need to worry about drip edge. I need drip edge. I want gutter apron on all the eaves. My ice and water, I want it around the eaves there.
All right, you convinced me. I'm gonna re-up my subscription. I'm gonna go with Pro because that is
I mean, like I said,
That's
if you
pretty
do,
nice.
if you're not, especially if you're not doing roast the whole, if you're not used to doing roast a whole lot, or you're not you're doing like roofs you're not used to doing. Oh yeah, see, gutters. I'm removing and replacing gutters. These are going to be 6 inches, and I need to paint them. The downspouts though are going to be same style. No, they're not the same style. They're going to be 5-inch downspouts, and I want the debris to all be. I don't want it to be also. I'm going to put it on a dumpster. It's already got my cubic calculation. Hit one button, and boom, there's everything at a default value for what Xactimate thinks you or how Xactimate views writing a roof should look like.
Yeah, and it's all
And-
purple, meaning you didn't type a damn thing.
Yeah. Now, granted, I mean, for all our guys out there that like to do the RFG, add a plus, or subtract the plus and hit enter. That's all you got to do to turn the purples off. And then obviously, you can go in there and do your RFG and your RFG and you're good to go. And you only got, say that again.
I was wondering, since y'all like know way too much on this stuff, personally, what's more easier to do like roofing estimating or on the mitigation side?
Mitigation so easy. Mitigation's easy. Mitigation
I
is simple.
think, I mean,
You're 2 macros away from being done. I mean, it's it.
I think mitigation's easier in a lot of regards just because it's I like mitigation a lot more. A lot of people though, they don't take the time to put a sketch in their estimates. They're just pulling the Eagle View report and just hand typing in the numbers. And I'm sorry, but like when I do a roof report, I want to be able to see, I like to be able to show that I sketched this roof out. Like I actually I got the measurements in here so you can trust my numbers. When I don't see people with the numbers on here and I just see a bunch of, there's no sketch, I feel like they're just not doing a good job about it.
Well, it's not as defensible, that's for sure.
And then Andy, for you also, you can, once you can do your roof that way, but also on Xactscope, you can go 3D mode and you can click on your walls here like this and say, I'm replacing the existing here. Oh, what is it? It's a wood siding. It's
a cedar, beveled cedar.
It's a beveled wood type is cedar. Finish is none.
Stained.
Scaffold, do they have stain on there?
Mm-hmm.
Stained. And I'm going to put 2 coats on there. Blah, 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 blah.
Oh man, that is so easy.
And you hit enter.
So easy.
And, if you have a window on here, and the nice thing is also if you do have your windows on here, I gotta jump over here real quick. I'll put a couple of features on here. So I'm gonna put a door here. I'm gonna put a window here. And I'm actually gonna put the door here. And I want to take this door and I want to make it a nice big door, overhead door like that. And the nice thing is when you click on that wall facet there for Xactscope, it's gonna say, here's all your siding stuff. Your door, what are you doing anything with the door? I'm going to replace it. It's a standard metal door, solid core. I can go through and answer these questions here and just let it number it hinges, 3 hinges. So there's everything there. I can go to the window here. Oh, you're going
to 35 items generated. You clicked 10 clicks and created 35 line items.
This window here, I'm going to remove it in place. What kind is it? It's a aluminum window. Probably, I don't know. Most people do vinyl. So vinyl window. It's a double hung window. The glass strength is standard.
All right, Joe, you and I need to do a a 25-minute class on exact scope. I think that's,
And like I said,
and
it's
then we'll sell it for
continuously,
$25 a piece and sell 1 million of them. And that's how we're going to retire.
and you literally, as you grow on your waste tonnage here, you can actually distinguish. I'm going to only be using 12 cubic yard dumpsters, and it'll calculate out how many dumpsters you need. And then so far on this estimate here,
That's just for the siding though, because a roof should,
no,
the
it's
roof
doing,
includes the dumpster.
no, because since I said no, since I'm not using it, it went ahead and did no haul off on the removal
Oh,
here. So this is how many dumpsters how many 20-yard dumpsters I would need total for the job.
mm-hmm.
And
Look
there's
at
all
that.
my windows and doors and everything else.
Easy money.
Now, like I said, I mean, anyone that does this here, you're probably gonna get used to manipulating this a little bit more to finesse it a little bit. But yeah, I mean, I wouldn't have known from the top of my head that there's a wood shake shingle starter line item. I wouldn't have thought that. I would have just probably personally, I probably would have just grabbed the wood shake, or the universal starter on there.
Mm.
I don't know enough about wood shake, but some of you guys out there that I know of,
I know you couldn't pay me to put wood shake on my house.
Gracie, get in house.
I don't know anybody that wants it on there, but this one here, or this one here, maybe this one here is slate. How much do you know about slate roasts, Andy?
Enough to be dangerous.
I can go in here and I can click those 3 roasts and I can say, okay, these roasts are all going to be slate, and it's all slate. I always default by 10% waste. I don't know how many I'm supposed to ever do usually on some of this stuff.
It should be more than that, but
But I can go through here and it's gonna, if you're not used to this stuff here, did you, nail or board? Is it metal or wood? I wouldn't even know there was to think about the difference there. And just that quickly, now I switched it all over to add in those extra line items. And it does it for metal roofs. If you're doing a commercial property, let me jump back over to the sketcher after it
so
thinks.
when you go get, I mean, they don't even teach this in Xactimate level 3. They don't even teach this.
No,
Why don't they teach exact scope?
because a lot of people say it still leaves things off. A lot of people don't like the don't want to pay the extra money for it. A lot of people,
I think that's what it is. It's the extra money.
Like here, I can do this here. I can treat this as a pitched roof if I want, but if I treat it as a low pitch here, I can go in here and say commercial, and I can say it's a EPM roof, and here's all my. I mean, I don't have any clue, I don't know everything I need to know here, but it's going to ask you roof insulation. It's going to ask you sculptors. It's going to ask you on if you need parapets included in here, and it's going to calculate this all out for you. And like I said, because of the way the program's designed, it even knows when to charge the double felt charge line item. If you are tearing a roof off, and I love how laggy my computer's been today. It's because I got like a million things opened up. If you're on your roof here, I can actually on the removal side here, it's different. And it is the removal type, here's an addition, there's another layer of 3 tab, and it's wood on top here. I mean, you can go through and say there's wood underneath it and make this here be your composition here. And you found a wood shake underneath here and it'll automatically calculate out whatever it is. There's 2 more layers of shake or 3 tab underneath there. Boom. And it'll automatically, there's your tear offs, and here's your additional layer of shingles being removed.
I like it. All right, we're 6:02. Let's enter some mail here. Let's open up the Facebook page. I'm gonna come over here. Where's my Facebook page? Oh, come on, you dirty dogs. Okay, let's share this. Luis, David, you guys got anything to add to that?
That's
Xactimate
I'm a
user
big
creep.
fighter. Yeah, I'm a
I
big
will
fighter.
tell everybody this though. Technically, officially, Xactscope does a water mitigation version as well. It's garbage. Don't touch it. It ain't worth your time. It's I've been up there butts hardcore about changing it because it is just complete food. But
No,
on
I
the
can't wait
website
for
side, it ain't bad.
Can't wait for the masterclass course, Joe.
Let's do it, man. Let's do it. Okay. Here's a question. Who's in Florida? How is the claim volume? Is it a covered event? I mean, really? I mean, I love you because you're a rebel, but that's yeah, it's a covered
It's-
event. Duh.
Most people aren't even there yet. Like you're still a few
Yeah,
hours out.
no one's there. You got a day or two before you should be there. Do firework. Ask me if. Oh, that's too complicated. I don't have patience today. Okay. What's the extent of damage in North Florida? Wait for it. Wait for it. It'll come out.
It's Florida, Bama. There ain't a whole lot to get
It's
damaged.
Floribama. Starting to figure out the whole onboarding thing. This client has had it with State Farm. This is a good one. I like this one. I just left the most angry message I've ever left in my entire life. I told her that if I did not hear from her by 12 p.m. tomorrow, I will be going above her until I find someone who will rectify this situation. I'll be going above and beyond to find her supervisor until I possibly can reach the CEO of State Farm to get this taken care of. That is a great example. That you have empowered and educated your consumer, the insured, that they are in charge and they need to raise bloody hell to get things done. I love it. Anyone seen this before? Had a structure fire last year, heavy soot damage kitchen wall, minor soot damage bedrooms, all drywall insulation was moved from living in, all attic insulation, whole house was primed and painted, ducts cleaned really well. What would be the problem? So there's some shadowing.
I'm gonna assume they have candles in the house based on the fact they have fake flowers and all, and it's a University of Kentucky fan, so they probably don't have a lot of electricity. And but that's probably some kind of like a neon light that's causing static electricity. And so when they're burning the candle, the soots are collecting on the backside of that sign there, leaving the imprint.
Dude, yes, I concur. That's a piece of plastic with electricity on it. You are creating a static something. That thing is collecting. Yeah, that was probably a brand new painted wall, and you put that UK on it, and that's what caused it. It's not. This is not from the loss. That's from your decorations. In your experience, when billing the client directly and they pay in full, does a carrier ever request all the documents, dialogues, etc., to justify lower payment, or they always pay in full? I would say no. They will never pay in full unless you make them pay in full.
You should always provide even if you're billing clients directly, provide them the same documentation you would provide the adjuster, because they're the ones that are
100%.
gonna have to fight it.
Yes.
Simple.
Yes. If you're not providing those along with your invoice, you are not meeting the standard of care for our industry, and you should go stand in the corner. How do I remove waste from roof shingles? Why would you want to remove waste?
That's a good question.
It's
that
probably
I-
being asked to remove waste, and you shouldn't do it. But yeah, I think this is the answer. There's a waste.
If there's the
calculator
auto
right
waste,
there.
if you have the sketch, otherwise, guys, just make sure the number is the same.
Oh, he asked the same question twice. Oh, all right. You didn't get your right answer, huh? Okay, fine. Okay. Hopefully someone checked on Mr. Matthews' father. Hopefully he's all right. That's scary. Who is going to Florida? Not this guy. I don't think there's a lot of damage. I mean, it didn't hit a big population area. I mean,
I think there's gonna be more damage in Georgia
yep.
than anywhere else.
Yeah, and keep in mind,
which
These
is good
things,
because the interns ain't running away from Georgia yet.
these things have a tendency to spin up tornadoes in, I don't know, Richmond. The wind damage and resulting storms from the original storm are often worse than the storm itself. Okay. Looking for a referral. Oof, where's that?
Her hometown.
Storm surge?
Yeah.
Yeah, I saw some pictures in Tampa. Storm surge was real. And also not covered.
Unfortunately.
Okay. What's John May up to? I wish he was here. Tell us what he's up to here.
He's probably in some European country right now. Knowing him, he's always jetting around the world.
That's true. That's true. Okay. Headed to an island to do work. Well, he's out early.
Oh yeah.
Is he in Florida? I can't tell. Oh, is that the same guy? No, different guy. Huh.
He's
Yeah.
if he's going island bound, I'm assuming he's going to like down a little bit down to the Keys, or I mean,
Like
maybe,
Cuba?
I mean, there's a few islands they would take a ferry to, but not a whole lot. I would think. I don't think.
Oh, heading to Port Arnas, Arnasis. Okay. All right. Looking for good, reliable temp labor in the Atlanta area. Good luck. Wow. Okay. Yeah, I'm not saying we haven't had a good dumpster fire in the group for quite some
All right,
time.
I'll give you a good dumpster fire.
All right,
now.
help me.
I'm gonna
hit
post
me.
it to.
Give me
I'll post it
something.
to the group. All right.
John Evans IH. Who's that guy? Let's get him in here. Okay, go ahead.
What is everyone's opinion of this note? Because
Oh, you're going to intentionally start a dumpster fire right now. Okay.
I put
You
it in
heard it
another
here.
group, and Tim and me talked about it for links this morning. Let me see here. Where is it at here?
What's up, Mr. Evans?
What's
Howdy.
up, gents?
What's up,
Howdy.
partner? Hey, how'd
ready
your annual block party go the other month? Was it last month?
Yeah, the banger. America's answer to the backyard barbecue was attended by many. It was a lot of fun. Had fake Michael Jackson on the boom crane singing "Beat It." It was great. But back to more important things.
What do you know, man? Are you responding to Hurricane Idalia?
Heck yes, I am.
Yeah, where are you going?
In Valdosta, Georgia.
Okay.
I got
What are you
good
going to be
onions
doing?
down there. I heard.
Asbestos?
Asbestos and 2 of the air guys' trailers full of drying equipment rented to a fellow rebel. So
Okay.
we are heading out in the morning, but I am southward bound.
Okay.
There you go, Andy. I put the question into the group for you, to entice you to answer your opinion on.
Okay. Okay. Yeah, you posted this earlier. No, you posted in a different group. That's right.
Yeah.
Right. Okay. Well, Mr. Evans, do you have any wise words for all the newbies out there that are chomping at the bit to head down and lose their asses in Florida?
I certainly do. My number one piece of advice is do not overpromise, and do not promise that anything can be done by any time, by any date certain, because you will be wrong. Nothing after a hurricane happens quickly unless you have 2 commas in your checking account and a limitless supply of labor and pontoon boats and trailers and logistics.
Yep.
This is not a Hurricane Ian size storm like we had last year, and certainly we're not seeing the damage. Although there certainly have been substantial surge events, but those surge events are not covered.
Mm-hmm.
Andy, you know firsthand our adventures on Sanibel Island last year.
Mm,
You know, an entire neighborhood at the golf course, the country club, of $1 million and $2 and $3 and $5 and $10 million homes that had 10 foot of water on the ground level. And guess what? It's not covered. So
it ain't
yeah,
covered.
does work need to be done there? Certainly. That's between you and the homeowner, or you and the property manager. It's certainly not up to you and any insurance company because it's not covered. My second piece of advice is I would collect enough of a down payment, regardless of what the deductible is.
Yes,
So
regardless
that
of deductible.
don't
Deductible's
care.
not going to cover it.
And the deductible is not your problem. The deductible is the homeowner's problem. If they would like to wait for ServPro of Chicago to show up in Georgia to do it as program work, good luck. We'll see you in 3 weeks. There's a finite number of qualified and competent contractors that are well capitalized with the gear and the men and the trucks and the relationships to do this job now or at a start time within the next 10 days. But if you're expecting, oh, I'll give you $1,000 and you can collect your money from the insurance company, good luck. I'll see you in bankruptcy court. Do not do that.
2 years later.
Yeah.
Right. Third piece of advice: if you're in Florida, or if you're in Georgia, if you're not a person that possesses a contractor's license, align yourself with somebody that does, because nobody likes locking up out-of-state people more than the local sheriff. So get yourself qualified. Otherwise, you will end up on a Facebook page from the local municipality saying, you know, out-of-state unlicensed contractor arrested for fraudulently taking money above the deductible from Johnny and Jane homeowner. More after sports. Back to you in the studio, Jim. Like, this is what's going to happen. So
Period.
get yourself aligned with somebody that has a license, so that you don't look like a jerk when Detective Clouseau shows up asking why your truck doesn't have letters on.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah.
those are my 3 pieces of advice from a guy that has done this since Katrina.
Yep. Yeah. Man, Katrina was a shit show. But we are going to have, I'm calling it right now. We're going to have a bomb cyclone event this year. We're going to have a hurricane go from 0 to hero, Cat 5, pushing Cat 6 this year. That's going to catch everyone flat-footed. You're going to be like, oh, we have a low pressure coming off the coast of Cuba. And then, holy shit, we just lost Houston. It's going to happen. There's going to be a big storm this year. We've got so much energy in the Gulf, in the ocean, north of 100-degree water. That is literally nuclear level power. There is so much power once these things get going. We've got a slowdown of the North Atlantic current. This is going to be nuts. We're going to see this year. We're going to see the biggest storm the planet has ever seen. I'm calling it right now.
Until
The
next
following
year.
years as well. Actually, I think the following years as well. We were told about this. The next 5 years is going to be like getting worse and worse and worse and worse.
Yeah, it's not the North. It's a transatlantic current, and it starts with the Gulf Stream, but the transatlantic current is slowing to a halt. And that is the planet's, at least the Atlantic Ocean's, natural radiator system, dissipating heat, taking it from the tropics, pushing it north, dissipating that heat in the Arctics, and then coming back down, cool water coming back down. That natural cycle is breaking down. And when that breaks down, that heat, that hot water and heat is trapped around the equator in the tropics, and nothing good happens when that stops. So yeah, it's we're playing musical climatic musical chairs, and the music is slowing down. So hold on to your hats.
best advice to young people,
Mm,
regardless of their situation. Most people under 28 years old don't own a home,
mm.
so they don't have to have homeowners insurance, and they just assume that oh, well, if something happens to my apartment, the building's going to take care of it. BS. Get yourself a good, if not great, renter's insurance policy. It might cost you $50 a month. It might. It's the best $600 you spend all year for $100,000 worth of coverage of personal property with a very low deductible.
Yeah.
That's what I would tell young people to do. Make sure you have a documentation of what you got, because otherwise it's going to be ugly.
Yeah, we've been shut out of the homeowner market for a little while. So we've been renting since we moved to Bend here in 2014. And we've got content. I've got personal contents coverage of 250. We've got some other stuff that's covered, like jewelry and stuff is on its own schedule, but it costs us, I think it's less than $100 a month for $250,000 worth of coverage. And my house burns down in a wildfire. I've got ALE because I've got renter's insurance. They're going to put me up somewhere else. I can afford to, to stay somewhere else, and they're going to replace my shit. I just found out that if I break my iPhone, I've got electronics coverage through USAA on my renter's policy. I didn't know that.
Right.
The renter's policy is I will say that insurance in general is a fucking racket. It's a necessary evil, but renter's insurance is a steal. It's
Yes,
the
it is.
best deal.
And it doesn't matter what company you have. It doesn't matter
No.
if you have USAA, State Farm, Farmers, Lemonade. I had a claim 3 months ago with one of the fires. They had Lemonade insurance, $100,000 policy. They paid policy limit in 3 weeks because it was a fire.
I'll
Policy
tell you-
limit.
I'll tell you a
Done.
really good insurance
Done.
company that I've done a few jobs for is Openly.
Openly?
They have like their limits on their dwelling. If you're just taking the money and run, you hit your normal limits of the property value. But if you are willing to put the house back together again, they have like, as silly and as weird as it sounds, the 4 policies I've worked on so far, they were all the same. If you are willing to put everything back together again, you have up to $1 million worth of coverage to
100% replacement cost. Huh. That you can do a lot with $1 million.
Yeah.
I've
And I'm
seen
going to add
John
on
do
to
it.
John's note to all the young guys out there. For the young guys that are going down there to work, you're going there to work. You don't need to go to the strip club. You don't need to go to the bar. Like, that's how you get your ass fired. That's how you get your ass arrested. I know that for a fact from personal experience. Keep your ass at the hotel, play video games, and relax.
I've
You're
seen me
not
do it.
working.
Yeah. Burnout is real.
Everybody
I get it.
needs a break, and I get that there, but don't.
But you're not going for vacation. This isn't spring break. You go down there, and if you're going down there, make sure you get a contract or at least an agreement in writing, right? Don't just pick up and go because someone's, oh, there's tons of money, I'll pay you. Just get down here. Get that shit in writing. There's no handshake deals in this time of day.
Andy, there are enough mentors in this group that have been around the block, that have seen people get burned, and all of us that have been doing this for more than 10 years, we have all been burned, and it sucks.
Yep.
And
I got
guess
the
what?
scars.
Well, right. I'm available for a 10-minute call with any of the young people
Yep.
that want to know, oh, hey, for instance, another person called me today about O'Reilly Auto Parts. They have a deal for O'Reilly Auto Parts.
O'Reilly.
Yeah. Right. Hey, yeah, this guy says I should just come down. I said, I bet he does say that because he has no liability by telling you on the phone just to come down.
Mm-hmm.
So I literally helped him with some open source Georgia appropriate contract language. The guy got it signed on e-sign. Guess what? Now he has something in writing.
Yep.
It's a lot better than going down naked.
Shit
Yeah,
hits
I'm
the
not-
fan, things go sideways. You know, the first thing the attorney is going to ask is, where's your contract?
Right.
If you're going to say he broke your agreement, show me that agreement. And if you've got a handshake deal or a phone call, that's not an agreement.
And if you guys are going down there and you're getting approached by people saying, hey, you're doing a really good job, why don't you relocate down here? Take some time and really think of that, what that's involved. I've seen too many people do that because they're like, oh, there's so much work down here. And then as soon as the hurricane work dried up, they got laid off. They just wanted to get a reason to keep them down there for an extra 2 or 3 months. And that was it. Like,
Yep.
protect
yellow-
yourselves.
The yellow and green trucks are on they're on a 15-day time clock, right? 15, maybe 20 days from now, you won't see a yellow and green truck, right? Because they got in, they got out. That is it. In the long-term repairs, you know, I don't got the patience for that. There's there's just not enough. There's just not enough money on the planet to make me relocate my business to a disaster area to do long-term repairs, right? The money in CAT is not in the long-term repairs. It's in the MIT, in the demo, in the muck out. That is it. It's not even in the drying, really, unless you're in the commercial space.
Get in, get out. That's it. You get in and you get out. And I think this storm, this is a Cat 3 plus. It was a Cat 4 for 15 minutes. The
Mhm.
Cat 4, that hit a bunch of marshes and mangroves. And not to minimize what happened, because obviously, like Cedar Key, 16-foot storm surge. Yeah, that sucks. I'm sorry that happened, but this was a smaller storm, and it's not going to have the widespread effect in an attractive demographic area. Get in and get out. And my other thing is, go home. If you've been there for 14 days and you don't see anything else happening, go home.
Go home.
Get a plane ticket and go home for 3-4 days. You can leave your stuff down there. Guess what? There'll be a place to put it. But go home.
Yep.
For real.
Yep.
Because nothing is gonna happen in the next 4 days that is going to change your life, probably. So go home. Literally. Get yourself refreshed. Have a sandwich at your favorite restaurant. Go see your old lady, whatever the situation may be. It'll make you feel a lot better about yourself when you get on that plane to go back down to the war zone. Believe me.
Yep. I've more than once I've gone on an initial deployment and come back and then made them beg me to come back for a second round. And
Right.
the second round is on my terms. That's the beauty of it. It's like you liked what I did there? Oh, I appreciate that. Thanks for the kudos. Oh, you want me to come back? Well, first off, let's take care of my first deployment. Let's make sure I'm paid up for that. And second off, I don't really like the setup of the first time around. We're going to have a second setup this time. And if you don't like my terms, I'm staying home. That's
The
it.
last time I did a major deployment and I was down there for a month and they wanted me to stay down there longer. I said, I'm going to go home. And we were in Brunswick, Georgia, right there on the FGL. And I said, I'm going to go home and get my old lady and my kid. And we're going to drive back down here. You're going to pay for the gas. I'll fly home. I'm going to drive back down here. You'll pay for my gas. And then I want 1 weekend off and I'm going to take them to Disney World and not have to pay for all the extra travel fare. And that my old lady and them ended up staying in the beach rental house they had given us to stay in, or for me to stay in for like a month on vacation. Like,
Yep.
there's some good ways to make things work for you.
Yeah. So I went my time on Rich Person Island in the Bahamas. I forget the name of the island now.
FGX Island.
It was exactly. Yeah. Not quite that. Well, maybe. I mean,
It was. I know where you were.
everyone had a house there. Like movie stars, indie racers, NASCAR racers, Jordan, the president of Solomon Smith Barney, they all had houses there, movie stars and everyone. My first trip out, ended up turning into a total bust. They actually, the guy I was working for got me kicked out of the island. I was stranded. So it was just like, it was a total shit show, but I made enough connections and I did enough good work while I was there that I ended up coming back 6 weeks later and making $25,000 for 7 days worth of work. But, it took, getting, I don't know how many of you guys have been to the West Coast, but it takes a long time to get from the West Coast to the freaking Bahamas. I mean, it's
Yeah, it's
2
a
days
ride.
of travel,
Right.
lots of airplanes. So the second time was right at the beginning of COVID. That's right. Right before they really locked down COVID. But it goes back to my point. You want to go wherever you go, whatever you do, you want to do it on your terms. And you want to be in a position to fully commit to it. Back to the video I showed at the beginning. If you're not fully committed, like both feet, bad things happen. Bad things happen. Mr. Larson in the house. Did you lose the memo that you thought we were
No,
starting
I
at
just-
6:30?
I was stuck in containment. I just got back.
Well, congratulations. You get to have the last word because we're almost done here. What's up, man?
One minute left.
Oh, no, wait. Before we do 1 minute left, Andy, I need to get your input on my post because we got sidetracked. But I put it up
My
there.
input on your post? You want me
I
to
put it
read
up.
it again?
I never saw your response to it.
I didn't respond to it.
I noticed.
All right, hold on. I got to pull it up. Another window. Facebook. Blah, 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 blah. Facebook groups, Restoration Rebels. All right, let's just read it live. Hold on a second. Let me pull this. Can I hide this side panel? This is annoying. Whatever. Okay. Share screen.
Well, while
What?
you're trying to find that, Andy, I think I'm going to change my equipment rental division. Right now, it's just air guys. One of the funny people that works in the office says we should just change it to OnlyFans, just for equipment rental because it's catchy. But I don't know if it's going to work out.
OnlyFans equipment rental.
Yes.
Oh God. Okay, so this Joe, this obviously came from an adjuster,
A TPA.
a TPA, third party. Please do not
alacrity.
add any items to the estimate without discussion, and please do not resequence line items. The presence of a regulated or hazardous substance does not change the category of water loss. Oh, really? Huh. A category 2 loss. Yeah, not class. Category 2 loss where growing mold is discovered is still category 2. However, the mold should be remediated before aggressive drying procedures could spread contamination. This is directly from the IICRC S500.
Where?
Fuck that guy.
Page
And the horse he
line
rode
and
in
verse,
on.
please, counselor. There's no way.
Chapter
just
and
not true.
verse, please. The presence of mold does
Yeah.
not change the category of water. Since when?
All right, pause. I'll share my screen now.
ASI does not permit dehumidifiers in crawl spaces without containment to make it a conditioned space. Oh, which TPA is this?
Alacrity. So what they're referencing there at 1.1 there, let me share my screen and then I'll.
Yeah, go ahead.
Oh, is right
and-
here.
Okay, there. Oh, we got to talk about what Tim Fuller did last week. Don't let me forget.
Page 45, section 10.4.2, regulated hazardous mineral. If regulated or hazardous material is part of a water damage restoration project, then a specialized expert may be necessary to assess the damage. Restorers shall comply with applicable laws, blah, 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 blah. The presence of these substances does not directly determine or constitute a change of category, but qualified persons shall abate regulated materials or remediate prior to drying. That's the sentence that they're pulling from.
That's what he's going. But he also left out this whole other book called the S520.
Well, what they're saying is before you treat it as a category 3 loss, you need to remediate the mold from the following S520 and then address everything else. Effectively, just because there was mold present doesn't mean that the water is a category 3 loss. The water loss itself is still a category 2. Now, I will say that you still have to operate under category 3 guidelines, PPE, containment and all, but like, I would say you don't necessarily need to charge like Cat 3 water extraction if just because of the mold remediation. But I do know a little bit deeper on this here. I know that when they pulled the floor up, the floor was covered in mold, so the mold spores washed everywhere. So I felt they were justified there.
Well, we do have the resident expert IH in his house. So, Mr. Evans, what is your take on that?
My take is, and I don't speak for the CIH community, but my take is if there's readily observable condition 3 mold growth and there is detectable abnormal water level or water content in the same building material, I think it's category 3. I see alacrity reports all the time, and they'll lean on it's a category 1 or category 2 source. And they use that word source all the time.
Source, yes.
Yeah.
As soon as the source hits the ground, the loss is different.
As soon as that shit comes out of the pipe.
You know, but this is what I'll say. Like, I can understand, like, if in a theoretical world, let's say you had a full heavy growth of 2 foot around the perimeter of the ceiling and the water heater leaks on the floor. Just because there's mold up high in that contaminated room doesn't mean that the source itself needs to be considered a category 3 source. But if you've got category 3 mold at the bottom of the wall and it washes over the wall and washes those spores around and everything, then yes, I think that that's why I think it doesn't say, it says it does not directly determine. There's other factors, time, length of it being wet, things like that there. But
the opinion of an IEP says it right in there that an IEP may be engaged to assist in the development of scope of work, categorization of loss, quantification, et cetera, et cetera. So Alacrity is making a mistake hanging their coat on that one nail. That nail's going to fall right out of the wall because it's not a structurally sound argument. It is a red herring of an argument, in my opinion.
Yeah. So, I mean, what are we talking about though? What is the real difference on your average loss between billing at category 1 rates and billing at category 3 rates on a percentage, roughly? Is it 10% higher? Is it 20% higher? Is it 30% higher? What are we talking about?
I mean, the only thing there's only 2 kinds of work to be done in water. There's remove it or remove it category 3. The only thing that actually has a category other than 3 on it is the extraction process.
Yep.
Because your scope of work is either category 1 scope of work or it's a category 3 scope of work.
Yep.
Like you should be having containment. The only thing different between a mold remediation and a category 3 loss is I only clean, the 2 foot down, the 4 foot down where I flood cut it. I don't have to HEPA vacuum and clean everything up higher, all the horizontal surfaces and all, as I would in a mold remediation.
So why do we bother differentiating? Why don't we just stick to the scope? Why don't we just, instead of calling it Cat 1 or Cat 3, why don't we just do the Cat 3 line items, like you just said, put in a containment, clean and HEPA vac, do all that stuff, but don't call it Cat 3. Is there?
I hate the fact that their line item reads as HEPA vacuum because anybody working in construction should be using a HEPA filtration vacuum at all times. And to make it have that distinction of it reading as HEPA filtration on there makes them think they can argue with us and say, oh, well, you don't need a HEPA vacuum on a category 2 or category. No, I still have to vacuum. That's physically, you don't.
You still got to remove it.
You don't mop a dirty floor without sweeping it first. I'm not going to clean the studs and everything without vacuuming it first.
You don't vacuum, or I'm sorry, you don't shampoo a carpet without vacuuming it first.
And anybody in our industry, no one should just be using a HEPA vacuum. Those things are going to let silica dust fly everywhere, particulates. Like every vacuum in a shop, it should be a HEPA filtration vacuum system.
Yeah.
Unless
All
you're
right,
doing a
so-
full cleaning.
So I think we could eliminate a lot of these arguments by not
Nice.
differentiating, by not calling out Cat 3. Yeah, by not, because the difference between Cat 1 and Cat 3, at the end of the day, if you're performing the function, is negligible. The PPE is a little different. So anyway, I want to talk about what Mr. Fuller did. It's 2 weeks ago now. I guess I was in.
Are we talking about the phone call?
Yes.
Oh,
Yes, I am.
oh my God.
Yes, I am. So he had this jackass adjuster telling him we don't pay overhead and profit on, I don't know what it was, mitigation or something. We don't pay overhead and profit, period. So this genius, AKA Mr. Fuller, said, here's his phone number. I want you to call him and tell him who you are and that you charge overhead and profit. Well, they got so many phone calls, the guy's phone line went down. And then when his phone line opened up again, it got shut down again because it got so many phone calls. So Mr. Fuller, I think it was the Hartford, Mr. Fuller got a phone call from, he said the security division or something. Somebody somewhere at Hartford said, hey, make it stop.
They said, we'll pay your bill. Just tell
We'll
everybody.
pay your
stop.
bill. Just make it stop. And that's a lesson to all of us. It fucking worked. Let's keep it up. That's what I mean, that's straight up Gandhi right there, right? That's passive resistance. That's what do you call that? Oh shoot.
I really want to know how many people called.
A lot. Enough to break the guy's voicemail. And this person told Fuller that my adjuster can't get any work done. And I was just going, oh, this is the way. This is the way. Let's do it more.
It's like that. I told Tim, it reminded me a lot of, if you ever seen on in the YouTube, the news report where the lady's boyfriend and her broke up and he posted all around town $100 Chewbacca roar contest and posted her phone number and literally like shut her phone down for like 3 months with people just leaving voicemails of Chewbacca calls, and that was it. I was like, that's what you just did there, my friend, and it is amazing.
It's exactly what you did. And it's genius. It's genius. Non-violent, I think it's non-violent resistance. Non-violent, it's because at the end of the day, it wasn't illegal. And we weren't threatening. All we were doing was letting this specific adjuster know that in my market, in my business, I charge overhead and profit. And there was enough of us that responded that he got a check. Mr. Fuller got a check, overnighted check for the full amount of his bill. Done.
Yeah, you have to think too, it was posted early. So by the time everyone started reading it, it was probably all day long.
Oh, it was days. It was like 2 or 3 days.
I called like at 2 p.m. Hawaii Standard Time, and I'm not sure what time that was East Coast time. Probably like 8.
I imagine getting the voicemail to leave the message is like trying to win a radio contest where it was just
Right?
busy. Just hang up, call again, hang up, call again until you get through.
So, I mean, I think, within reason, and we could do the same thing with emails. So,
It's a little harder to crash an email server, my friend.
Yeah.
Been done.
Manually
been done.
deleting 1,000 emails would be annoying though.
Yeah.
Can you imagine you sign into your work email and there's 1,900 emails with the same claim number in the subject line? Oh my god.
My old lady's over here listening to you guys saying like you guys are mean.
No, I don't.
Oh no, we're gonna do it. We're going to do it early and often. So
Yep.
I will, the next time I see some bullshit from some TPA that's just taking a hard line, That motherfucker has no idea. His phone number, woo-wee, his name and phone number. Here you go. We're off.
My name is Andy McCabe, and I'm rolling deep, Mr. Adjuster. You're gonna hear from the Goon Squad.
I have a
Oh,
I have a
God.
way when I get these guys that they're just taking these hard lines, I will give them every opportunity to do the right thing. And I will tell them, hey, Joe, I'm just giving you the opportunity to do the right thing here. I believe that you have the ability to do this and you are choosing not to. And I'm advising you that nothing good happens from this point forward if you choose not to do the right thing. I mean, I'm just straight up. And, what follows when they don't do the right thing is a fucking lawsuit or 1,900 emails. I love it. We're doing it. That's going to be our signature. That's going to be the Rebel way. And that shit is, I can't wait. I can't wait. Let's get on CNN doing that. Let's change some shit. So, Rebels, when you see this, when you hear this, when you read this, when someone, and let's not do it for frivolous shit. If it's only if an adjuster takes a hard line repeatedly being absurd, then it's open game. Name, phone number, issue. Oh, I love it. I love it. I can't wait.
It's almost like, I'm sure some of you know of Ed Bolian of VinWiki fame. What if there was VinWiki for adjusters?
I've got a
We
URL
need
that
to
says
We need to
what's
make a
it?
website that says rate your adjuster, that literally every time you get an adjuster, we all can go in and tag it and put like 1-star, 2-star, and then homeowners can find and say, how good is my adjuster? And it's sorted by a carrier. I think that would be amazing.
Hello, sharks.
Yeah, go to claimsbeef.com
Oh my gosh.
if you want to call somebody out right there. Claimsbeef.com.
I love it.
There we go. All right, we're done. Wait, we're not done because Robert hasn't had the last word. What's up, man?
Oh, yeah, good. Yeah, I'm late. That's all right. I got the tail end. I'll have to review the early and afterwards
Good.
once it's posted.
This is gonna be fun. I am looking forward to the next 3 months of rebels being rebels. This is gonna be awesome. So, are you in Hawaii?
Yeah. Yep.
You're Big Island though.
Maui.
Oh, you're on Maui. Okay.
Yeah.
How's that? Are you involved in it all on that side, on the Lahaina side?
Right now, no. Possibly in the future. It's still locked down. They haven't opened up anything yet. So once they start opening, and it was interesting. The governor had a releasement yesterday stating that they're going to be opening it by zones, but I'm not sure how that's going to work. But
There's only one
I guess
highway,
open.
really.
Well, they're pretty
Yeah.
much just taking a bulldozer and trying to clean up all the soil from the asbestos, right?
Yeah, and that's the thing. It's a bunch of total losses from what I've seen, right?
Yeah.
I mean, there's not a whole lot of remediation or mitigation to be done.
Yeah, there's some. A lot of places did get smoke damage and partially burned on certain areas, but yeah, but for a lot of it was total loss.
Gone.
If you need somebody to come drive a bulldozer around stuff, I'll take a trip out there for you, man. Just give me a call.
Oh, all right. Be good, rebels.
Everybody remember the class tomorrow.
Oh yeah, class
Yeah.
tomorrow.
Right.
Xactimate. Are you in the class, Robert? Did you sign up?
Yeah, I signed up.
Okay.
I'll be there tomorrow.
Okay. We'll see you tomorrow. It's early for you.
Tomorrow's not as easy. I think Friday's at 6 a.m. Tomorrow I think it's at 10 a.m. or something, 9 or 10.
Perfect. Okay.
1
We'll
o'clock.
see. And if anyone wants to get into that class, I mean, I think signups are still open. You can go to restorationcrashcourse.com, but the chances of someone seeing this and acting on it, but by the time the class gets here, is pretty low. So, all right. See you guys next week. Hey, Luis, great to see you, man. Thanks for hanging out. And Mr. Evans, don't be a fucking stranger, all right?
Hey, no problem. Smoke damage is covered damage. Remember that,
Smoke
friends.
damage is covered damage. I'll see y'all.